India's the kind of place where I've felt every emotion to the extreme. I've never been happier, I've never been more pissed off at things, I've never felt more inspired, more angry, frustrated, patient. You can't explain India, you have to go there. I know coming from America, when you see a homeless person on the street, you question, were they an alcoholic? Did they get wrapped up in drugs or what? Do they have a soup kitchen that they can go to or things like that? But India is just different. I remember our first day there, just coming out of the Kalighat station, walking back to our friend's house, and you see these homeless people living on the streets, sleeping on tarps, laying on tarps, full families. It's not just an occasional person. It's mothers with 5 children, naked children, doing everything that you would do in the privacy of your own home. They're cooking, they're washing their dishes, they're shaving, they're bathing, they're doing anything that you would do in the privacy of your own home, but they're doing it right there in the open on the sidewalks. And it's not just one person, it's family after family after family. And when you walk past that every day and you see these people every day, for me, that's poverty. I never understood poverty before I saw something like that.
What else? Hi guys.
Where are we?
Kolkata Shuktara home. Bablu Lau.
Hello.
Anna. Look. Yeah. Who's that? Auntie. Anna. Anna, our first Shuktara boy. Anna, freshly shaved this morning.
Excellent.
That's a big smile, Anna. You've been shaved. I first came to India in 1995 on a holiday with some friends to Goa in South India. Fell in love with India and just came back a few times. And then I ended up in Kolkata, and a friend of my mother's was donating money to a charity here. And she said, if you are in Kolkata, see if you can find that charity and see what they're doing. So I came and I looked for the charity and I found it, and they were working with street children on a station here in Kolkata. So I helped them a little bit and I stayed for some time. And during the time that I was here, I noticed that even though they were helping children that had arrived in Kolkata, that had no families or had run away from home, if any child had any sort of a disability, they tended to just kind of not really, you know, they'd walk past that one, and so that was really on my heart when I went back to London. I was thinking about all these children who had disability who were just like left. And I just remember at that time the feeling of being able to do something was really strong for me. And I just thought, you know, maybe sometime I would like to do that, you know, maybe set up a home for children who had no family, who had some sort of a disability, and give them a home. And I started Shuktara with two boys called Anna and Sunil, who were at the time about 15, 16, and they were being thrown out of a residential care home because they were too old. Sunil's deaf, and he also has, you know, profound mental disabilities. And Anna is very emotionally disturbed, he's epileptic, and, you know, severe learning disabilities. So
David decided that's really what he wanted to do. He took two boys when we were living together in the same building, and then they asked David to leave because they didn't want boys with disabilities in this building, which is pretty common here, that prejudice against people with disability. So we had to find another place, and so we all decided to move in together, and we lived with the boys in Shuktara in the same building.
So Alison and Brian were living in the flat above me, and I took Anna and Sunil into this small flat in Southern Avenue, and that was the beginning of Shuktara. We took Shantara, who's deaf.
And the house.
I'd seen Shantara on Howrah Station, living alone, and I went and spoke to him and told him that we had a home in Kolkata, and there were two boys there who had mental problems. One of them was deaf.
So how did you meet Shuktara?
Because we used to go to Howrah Station when we were told that there were deaf children or handicapped children who were living on the station alone.
In a house?
No, living alone
on the street?
on the track. And I said, you know, I don't want to just take you off the street and put you into a house. Just think about it, and we'll come back in a few days and talk to you and see if you're interested in coming. But anyway, before I went back to Howrah Station to find Shantara and talk to him, he'd seen somebody that knew me. And he'd said to this guy, one white man came here asking for me, I've been thinking, and I want to go to that place. So one day we were having art class, me and the two children and some other children from a different NGO, and suddenly Shantara walked in. And that was the third boy. Tamina's had cake and she wants more, and Shantara's trying to stop her from getting more. And then Ashok, who's in here. The world famous Ashok. This is the world famous Ashok, who's got an amazing story. Ashok's got cerebral palsy. He can't speak, but he can understand English, Hindi, sign language, Bengali, all languages he can understand. And Ashok's story is quite interesting because he was abandoned by his family when he was born, and he was put into homes from a newborn baby. He was put into different institutions, and every institution that he went to, they all treated him that he was mentally ill. So he's not mentally ill, as you can see. And the last home that he was in, there was a woman from Ireland who was working there as a nurse, and she spotted that Ashok was definitely not mentally disturbed, that he was a really intelligent young man. And she'd heard about our organisation, so she called us. And the very interesting thing about the story is that when he came to our house, he actually knew most of the boys because he's been in institutions all his life. And so he knew Anna, and he knew Sunil, and who else did you know? You tell who you knew. You didn't know Pinku. Who did you know? Oh, Ramesh, who's downstairs. Ramesh, Keda, who's out working in the restaurant. Tara, you knew. Shopon, you knew. Because all of his life, he'd been put into institution after institution after institution, and all of these boys had also been in various institutions, so he kind of recognised these guys. And now he's doing really well. Playing cricket, going to school. Anything you want to say to America and the world? You're on world TV. Nothing. Say hi. This is Papi. January 2000, he was our Millennium Gift, along with Rekha. And I found Rekha and Bapi, or I shouldn't say I was told about Rekha and Bapi living on Harrow Station. At the time I didn't realise that Rekha was a girl. She had her head shaved. And if you look at any of the Discovering Deaf World newsletters on the Shuktara page, you will see a picture of Rekha and Bapi when I found them in Harrow Station then. This is Rekha. We took them both back to the house, and quickly we found out that she was a girl, and so she had to go to another home. She didn't want to, she wanted to stay with us. But we had to explain to her that you can't mix boys and girls in the same house. So although Rekha and Ipshita are here now, this isn't actually their home. Their home is like 10 minutes down the road. And they've come here to do study with Maisie and Paula, who are interns from Gallaudet University. He's in prison. Okay, come here.
She's really naughty, teasing everybody all the time. She can't sit in one place for 1 minute. But she's amazing in the school. We don't have any problem in the school. I thought every day complaint will come, but no. She proved us. Huh, Amina? Before she came here, we don't have much. Whatever they said to me, and they have given some documents to me, that she used to live in Navajiban. There is a home there for missionaries. She used to live there, and then she lost from there. And childline people, they got her, and they took 4 or 5 days there, and then they informed me. But that time I could not able to take her here because Rekha and Ipsila, they both were in somebody else's home, and we are looking for our home. to a start. So I thought whenever we will start, we will take Tamina also from there. So, and then after 2 months I went there, and then she came with us.
Do you know anything about her family or her parents?
No. Tamina? Ma, Baba ache? No. If I ask him, where is your father, sometimes he spoke to me. Sometimes she can show to you also. Tamina? In India, it's still tough because I'm actually from the village side, and there, if any deaf boy is there, they treat like he's mad. But he got a mental problem. But only the problem is he can't speak.
Yeah.
He can't hear. But people think, oh no, don't know anything.
Many of them came from circumstances where they didn't know any deaf people. All the boys have no families, or in some of the boys' cases, they've left their family because of either the family didn't want them, or there was arguments with the family, or they were beaten by the family, and they decided to just leave. And because they don't have any language, no written language, not enough sign, they don't know their real name, they don't know the name of the village where they come from, so there's no way for them to really get back to their families. So when they first came, they didn't really have many communication skills, and we tried really hard to do as much sign as we could with them. I mean, with our limited sign, neither David or I knew much sign, so we were doing a lot of miming, a lot of natural sign. I knew a little bit of ASL, not too much. And we developed a communication system that we were all pretty comfortable with after some time. And David's idea was to send them to school, but not immediately, only when they were ready. And even in the school, the problem is most of the boys were too old. And since they haven't had education, they don't have, it's hard for them to learn because they aren't used to learning in that situation. And in most of the schools here, they still use the oral method. So unless you have a little bit of hearing, or you have a hearing aid that you can hear a little bit, or you're exceptionally good at lip reading, you don't learn.
तुम्हारा नाम पूछना पड़ेगा। दोनों साइकिल। अच्छा सर। Go! Football! Good class. Already.
In total, we have 15 boys now. Kedda, who's deaf, is now working at Howrah in a restaurant. And he comes back 2-3 times a year. But the thing is that, you know, that he's at first I was a little bit worried about Kedda just going, working, coming back. But somebody told me that really what we've done is we've been able to give them so much of a sense of confidence and a home that they know they can come back to. So, you know, I'm actually very proud now, I think, about Kedda. He's gone off, and 2-3 times a year he comes back, sees everybody, and that's his home. It's like coming back to his family. People who come to visit Shuktara, they always go away and they always say that it feels really, really good. They always say it feels like a family. There's something that they can't explain really, or they can't put into words. And I think it comes from their sense of safety and their happiness. And I've never wanted that to be disrupted. We've met a number of children who, deep down in my heart, although I've wanted to help them, I've known, myself and my staff, we've known that they were not the right children for that house.
How do you decide what boys come and which boys do not come?
First I see the boys, and then it's like I always think that any boy who come here, they won't leave us, because it's it's hard for our boys also. One boy is coming, he is staying 1 month, then he's not fitting it among them. So I always concentrate about that. That if anybody comes, he should be same as them. And that's why we won't take any boys with the family or anything, because none of them have family.
So what do you like about it here? What do you love about the house?
I mean, the first thing that our boys, they are really open-minded, which is the really fantastic things for me. Normally it's not happen.
What do you mean?
I mean, whatever they think, whatever they need, they just express without any hesitations. And if in the local, our local society, if people see our boys, they won't think that they are deaf. They know how to write English, they can read English. When they go to salon to cut hair, all the salon guy, one day they're saying to me, oh, they are really good, they always write in English. Because still in India, the English is poor for, there is so many languages, Hindi, Bengalis. Our boys always studying English, which is really good.
He also does all of our sign interpretation because he came when he was so small. He grew up learning sign language and English and Hindi and Bengali. So he can interpret. He's got kind of a cute smile, and so he does a lot of that sort of work. If we've got people in the house who need some help with interpreting, he's always the man to come to. So we've got multi-talented handicapped children. My dream is to start something that will get publicity, something like a boutique hotel where we can have, people on reception, we can have beautiful rooms, be in Lonely Planet. And I'm not just talking about a guest house or a centre that employs only deaf people. I'm talking about our home. Shuktara is not a home for deaf people. Our strapline is Shuktara, a new home in the world for young adults. And, we also make blankets and different things to raise money. And I don't want people to buy those blankets because they feel sorry for the children and it's a charity. I want them to buy the blankets because they're beautiful and they love them. And I would also want people to come to drink coffee in our cafe or come and stay in our guest house, not because it's run by deaf people, because it's a fantastic place to come. And I think they ought to be working in that place because I think they're fantastic people. I want everybody else out there to be just as proud of my boys as I am, really, because I think they've achieved a lot. And for me, education, all of that, it's not nearly as important. For me, the most important thing is that they have a sense of who they are, a sense of their individuality, that they're proud of that, and they prove that by going out into the world and being part of this society. And it's only by them going out there into this society and being part of that society that people will then change their attitudes, I think.